All right, so here we go. Hey, guys, thanks for jumping on tonight and joining us. Um, if you guys are part of our Facebook group, The Healthier You, you guys have noticed last month I did a daily post on intentions, and there were some good comments along that was made along those posts, and that all that information was given to us from one of our upline, our Blue Diamond, Laura King, and she has a couple folks on her team that put these monthly social media things together. And I'm in the process of uploading the February one now. But I mean, last month, January, it's a new year. Let's start off with intentions, right? Because sometimes people use words as a way to help shift into that new year and shift into something new for themselves. And I hear the word intention a lot. So I thought that was really well that they that was really good that they took that on a daily post and gave you some suggestions and kind of made you think a little bit. And I admitted on those posts, a few of those posts, that I wasn't very good at some of those things. And um, I noticed that as I was going through the month and looking at those daily posts, and I thought, okay, we're trying to shift our mindset, or we're trying to be more intentional. And I started thinking about, well, a lot of people want to be more intentional, but maybe they don't know how to be more intentional. So that kind of stemmed into led us down this path of looking into how do we set our intentions, right? So I want to do a little bit of a caveat before we get going on this. Um, you can you can very easily go down many rabbit holes, because we know that essential oils have a physical aspect to them and as well as an emotional aspect to them. So as we start diving into some of these oils, um, there's really not an oil that we call our intentional oil. There are oils that help us with focus, but so it was just very easy for me going down these rabbit holes, and I had to keep kind of climbing out of those rabbit holes as I was putting this together, because I really wanted it just to focus on how do we set our intent in, how do we become more intentional. It's a really cool word, it's a powerful word, and you can do a lot, but we have to know a little bit about ourselves and about what our intentions are. So that's kind of what brought this whole thing together. As I was going through this lesson, as I was putting it together, Elaine and I were looking at some books, and this one, Living Happily and Healthy and Happily Ever After, this is by Sue Lawson. We watched her speak
Oh,
8 years ago
yeah,
in
number.
Harrisburg. This is a really good book that I love to work with. I use this a lot when it comes to looking at the emotional side of the essential oils and how to get the most out of that. Another book that we referred to a lot.
Lori, do you have a question, honey?
I was just going to ask where you could get that on Amazon or.
Yeah, yeah, we
Okay.
get them from Amazon. You can also get them from Aroma Tools.
Oh, okay.
And they have some of those books. This book is another one I used a lot. Um, Sean, you and I are very familiar with this book. It's
Yeah.
Essential Emotions. This is the eighth edition. I think they're coming out with the ninth edition this year. They keep this book up to date, as well as with the Essential Life and Modern Essentials book. So as the new oils are introduced into the line, they update these books. But I get a lot of emotional information out of this book as I'm using the oils, or as we're trying to research which oils to use.
Angelo, that first one, what was the author's name?
Sue Lawson, Lawson.
Thank you.
And
Angelo, can I point out that I just found out both of those wonderful books have, well, The Essential Life and Essential Emotions also have wonderful apps.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
So when I'm out and about a lot, and I love that I have access to all that information on my phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you
cool.
know, you do a quick Itobi scan and match all that stuff up. It really helps enable you to. It gives you a lot of resources kind of when you're on the go, and that's what I really like about that. So thanks for
Yeah.
pointing that out.
Oh, I was just going to say the other author of this book is Rebecca Hinsey, and Hinsey is my maiden name. I never found out if we're related or not. I kind of doubt it, but you know, it was just cool to see that.
Yeah.
that's an unusual name. Maybe you are somewhere.
Yeah, maybe
Trust me, I
somewhere
get
down the line.
asked all the time if I'm related to Bonai the science guy. I'm like, no,
No,
but I don't think so. But
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will get going. Come on. There we go. All right, you guys see that okay?
yeah,
Yep.
Yes.
So as I was kind of putting this stuff together, that's not going to go anywhere.
Okay.
As I was putting this stuff together, you know, you search for those inspirational quotes and whatnot. And I stumbled upon something that from Bruce Black. Now he's he's very big into writing on yoga. He's been an author and wrote, had some stuff show up in Chicken Soup for the Soul, the Elephant Journal. And as I was reading this, I just thought, you know, this was kind of a perfect saying, you know, setting an intention is like drawing an arrow from the quiver of your heart. Because when you truly think about your intention or your direction that you want to go, this is an innermost desire that you're trying, that has meaning and has purpose to you. So it does come from the heart. So I want to talk a little bit first about what the definition of intention is, right? And you can see that it's an idea that you plan or intend to carry out. If you mean something, it's an intention. And your goal is the purpose or the aim is your intention, right? It's something you mean to do, and here's the catcher, whether you pull it off or not, right? That's where the saying, I think, comes from. You know, the roads to hell are paved with good intentions. I think that it pretty much speaks for itself right there. So it's a new year, right? I mean, here we are just into February, but you know, the new year is traditionally a time where we set goals. We resolve to make and hopefully keep certain resolutions, right? We clear out old past habits, old outdated practices. And for many, these goals or resolutions, they sometimes kind of fade even before the Christmas lights kind of lose their sparkle. Our motivation to succeed is flawed by this lack of intention or how to achieve the goal. Or maybe sometimes our goal is unrealistic, and maybe it's not unrealistic, but maybe we need to break it down into maybe bite-sized chunks.
Make too many of them.
Yeah, to get where we're going, right? So, I mean, here we are February 2nd, but let's think back all the way back to January, just, you know, a month ago. What were some of the goals or intentions that you had coming into this new year? And how long did it take for those goals or those intentions to kind of get moved to the back burner? How soon did your old ways creep back in to the front, back up to the front? And, you know, we kind of lost the focus of what our intentions were, what we wanted to do coming into this new year. The more important question, I think, to ask is, are you still working on those? And that's going to kind of be where we're going to be focusing tonight. So when we're setting our goals, oftentimes we have maybe unclear or less than specific about our intentions and about our goals for life. Before we can incorporate essential oils to help achieve those intentions or reach those goals, we have to really we have to think very clearly and carefully about what our intentions and our goals might be for this year. What are some of those goals, right? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to move jobs? Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to be more creative within your life, or, more creative lives? You have to make a list of your intentions and your goals. This is going to help you figure this out. If we define the goals and we set our intentions, that's how we're going to reach those goals. So for an example, let's take a goal of, I want to be more creative in my life, right? That's kind of a broad statement. That's kind of a big elephant. Well, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So the goal is we want to be more creative, but our intentions are going to help us reach that goal. So depending on your ability or your interest, I'm going to take painting classes, or I want to learn how to design a small garden. I want to experience how to take more creative photographs. I want to learn how to redesign the living room. These are all, plan of actions, right? So once we set those goals and define those intentions, now we can consider some essential oils that we can integrate into that or incorporate into that are going to help us with our mindset, and it's going to help us do better at what we're trying to do. Basically, if it feels right to you and you want some help to continue down that path, maybe we should look at some oils that could potentially help with that. I love this picture of Walt Disney, right? Your mind is a very, very powerful tool. And the way you focus your attention and our intentions, that can either make us or break us. Whatever you decide to focus on, that's going to be what expands. Walt Disney has spread a kind of happiness through the world with a myriad of fictional characters, and he's become a household name to most of us, right? But the imagination is not limited to just fictional stories or fictional characters. There are a lot of great inventors. There's writers, there's leaders out there that have changed the world by focusing on amazing ideas and that have turned it into something that has enriched and blessed the lives of others. The important thing to remember is we own our thoughts. We have agency over our own thoughts, and we can choose how and where we're going to focus our energy. That focus typically defines our underlying intentions. Positive thoughts, good intentions tend to produce growth and healing, while the negative thoughts and the intentions tend to kind of hurt or maybe even destroy, depending on where we're going or what we're doing. So let's talk about focusing in a positive direction. What are some of those things that we can do? If our thoughts or intentions make us or others happier, healthier, and wiser, then we're focusing our mind on the right things. We're moving in a positive direction. If we're filled with doubt and fear, it becomes an emotional challenge to shift the gears from negative thinking to positive thinking. I'm sure you guys, we've all experienced that. It's kind of sometimes, for me, it's very easy to go very negative on some things. And learning how to shift that focus to turn it around to something positive, that's like something I have to work on almost on a daily basis. Sometimes it's just a simple reminder that some of the important truths can turn around a really, really sour disposition. So there's a few things that we can do to try to help shift that negative thinking into some positive thinking. The first thing we have to do is we have to realize that you have the power to change that focus, right? You are worthy and capable of creating something good. Second thing we have to do is you have to remember that dreams do come true. But you have to believe in them, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to take time to kind of create those dreams. The third thing you have to do is you have to remember is that dreaming is a good thing, right? It's healthy for us to use our imaginations and to focus your attention on your dreams, your hopes, and that happy lifestyle or that happy living. So if we're faced with a task that we're just having some really difficult time, maybe starting it, maybe completing it, or just trying to tackle it in any aspect, how can we get to incorporate essential oils to help us with that? Much like the way the essential oils with calming and uplifting chemical properties, they can be used to create an environment that is conducive to focusing. There's a lot of essential oils out there, as you guys know, that can help with uplifting, they help with energizing and invigorating properties that can help us promote a more positive and a more motivating environment for us to work in. Sometimes it can be helpful to promote calming, grounding, and balancing emotions to help encourage those feelings of focus when our mind's just a little bit too busy and we're a little bit too distracted. By creating that calmer environment, we can prepare ourselves for focusing on the tasks that we have to do rather than worrying about all the chatter that's happening within our mind. We can quiet all of that and try to focus on kind of the task at hand, so to speak. So when we're using essential oils to promote focusing, what we're going to be looking for is we want to have oils that have calming, grounding, and balancing properties to them. Sometimes we may be reaching for something that's energizing and has refreshing properties. It all depends on what the kind of situation calls for, where you are, and do you need a kick in the pants, or do you need your mood to shift? Do you need the shift from that negative to the positive side? Some of that is going to kind of weigh into your decision as to which oils to use. Albert Einstein said it best. I think everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler.
No simpler.
But no simpler.
No simpler.
No simpler. This is a really great secret, I think, that many of us forget. Realizing your goals, the projects, and the purpose in an uncomplicated yet effective and prevailing fashion, eliminating all of the unnecessary while you're holding on to those essential details. I think that's where we kind of lose our focus sometimes, and we forget to make it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Lane.
That's a KISS principle. Come on, it's been around forever.
So how do we keep it simple, right? We got to maintain focus. We got to keep our eye on the ball. Indecision breeds procrastination. And the two of those create huge distractions. We can only hit what we aim at. So we have to maintain that focus. We have to keep our eye on the ball. We have to be honest, always. Nothing makes our lives more complicated than lying. Lying to ourselves, lying to others. Facing circumstances squarely may have its challenges, but it's the simplest way to live that happy life. Remember, honest is what you say to yourself and not maybe always what we say to other people. If we lie to ourselves long enough, you start to tend to come to believe it, right? You have to kind of prepare. Everything you need or want is showing up just as soon as you're ready for it. The sooner you prepare, the faster you're going to realize the results and the faster you're going to see this start to manifest. You have to have faith. Hopeful wishing is an excellent starter, but a not so good finisher. It's faith coupled with perseverance that leads you to cross that finish line. Faith comes after hope, and it's believing without a doubt. We got to keep it positive, right? We talked about that. Negative energy, negative feedback, and negative focus complicates everything. The three things you have full power over are your thoughts, your words, and your actions.
No stinking thinking.
Yeah, no stinking thinking. Absolutely. Right? We got to stay educated. Knowledge is key that unlocks those doors. Our individual success will depend upon increasing intelligence. But we want to remember, all education is self-acquired. No one can really teach you anything without your permission and your wanting to learn that. We have to be courageous. Breaking out of the old, that complicated patterns takes guts. If our purpose is worthy and your pursuit is sincere, you can establish better behavioral patterns. You'll have better thoughts, better choices, and that feed that simple and successful life. You have to go that extra mile. When you're spiritually compelled to reach out and to serve, go do it with high definition, right? It's the universal truth that leads to victory. When whatever you put out comes back at you tenfold or even maybe 100-fold. So you want to go that extra mile. Drop the ego. This is one I had some issues with. I had to learn this, right? You got to drop the ego. You can't become the master of anything until you become the master of your own ego. While believing in yourself is healthy, inflating your sense of self by competing or acting or believing that you're better than others, that's going to complicate our lives in ways that some of us really can't even imagine. You got to be willing to put in the work. I love this saying by psychologist Virgil James. With all that get going, right? Healthy self-esteem grows from good old-fashioned hard work. And anyone who truly hits the mark will tell you that their dreams aren't made without doing this hard work. So let's talk about some of the oils now that we can incorporate into this. And some of you guys remember a couple years ago, we did the Blue Tansy Big Toe Challenge, right? For every day, for a month, we
put the blue tansy on our big toe.
Yep, put the blue tansy on our big toe. This is known as the oil that fights procrastination, right? You can see that it invites to manifest your passion into action. It supports those who resist taking action and change their circumstances. It encourages to live in alignment with those whisperings of those inner voices. Now, I know you guys won't admit to having voices in your head, but we all have those little voices, right? We're familiar with those voices in our head. We're okay with those voices, but it's I almost see it as the devil and the angel on each shoulder whispering into your ears is what you should or shouldn't do. You can see the positive properties that are there. The one thing I want you guys to remember about this oil is that it's messy, for one. It comes in a 5 milliliter, and what we did is we poured it into a 10 milliliter roller ball. We topped that off with fractionated coconut oil just so it would last longer. And you could see by even applying it with a roller ball, it still got kind of messy on our toes. But as we were doing this big blue toe challenge, wow, there was a handful of us that did it for a month, and my sister got into it, and I was asking her, so I was like, "Are you feeling that it's working?" She goes, I don't necessarily know if it's working or not, but I know it's doing something because, and she kind of validated some of my thoughts on it too. I would be sitting there and I would be, I don't know, maybe playing a game on the computer or watching TV or doing something. And in that inner voice in my head said, you should get up and go do something productive. And I would go do it. So I don't know, maybe I need to get back on this blue tansy.
Really?
Angelo,
Yeah.
you said you used FCO. I'm seeing some other articles about using jojoba is better to help the oils get in through the skin. Any thoughts on that?
Jojoba, actually.
Jojoba,
Yeah.
jojoba, however you pronounce it.
Yeah. Gretchen, didn't you do some research on that as far as oils, or
Lisa did something.
Lisa did something. I don't know if Gretchen did or not.
I heard actually Jen Fry talked about this a little bit last night on her continuing education class, and she was recommending jojoba oil, but I think that was mostly in the context of skincare. So I mean, I think jojoba, well, I guess it depends on if you're looking, you look at the viscosity of an oil, and if you want it to stay closer to the surface to work on whatever's there, then you would pick one with a higher viscosity. And if you're wanting it to absorb in, kind of as far as possible, then you would pick something with a lighter viscosity.
Okay, that's seems like good good basis to go by. So thanks for that, Gretchen. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
It wasn't much, but it's all I have.
No, it's
It's
no,
more than what we had.
it's perfect. It gives us guidance. It gives us direction. That's perfect. But so when it comes to using this, as you can see, you turn into like a little mini Smurf here. So you want to be careful when you apply this oil. This isn't going to be an oil that you're going to want to apply to your face and then run out into town, because it's going to take several minutes for that to absorb into your skin. The blue tint, the tinge does go away. It takes a while just for it to absorb in. So when you're using it topically, just be mindful that it's going to kind of linger for a little bit. You can, of course, you can inhale it directly from the bottle or diffuse it to use it aromatically. For topically, you can put put a couple drops in carrier oil. You can put it behind the ears, or maybe on your wrists, or maybe even in on your solar plexus or the bottoms of your feet are a good place to use those.
Angelo, is there a comparable oil to this? Or I know you have some of the oils, if you don't have it,
Right, yeah, when you don't have this, use that.
Or is there really not one that compares to this one?
Offhand, I don't know of one.
Okay.
The oil substitution chart says first choice would be Roman chamomile. Second one is soothing, and followed by yarrow.
Okay.
I think on that, it kind of depends on what you're going for.
True.
Okay.
Like if you're looking for the motivational part of it, I might substitute Motivate,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
doing completely different chemical composition, doing different things, but still has tendency to get you up off your chair.
Up off the couch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another oil blend is the Arise. I'm finding that one helps with focus as well as the Align.
Okay.
Two others that I use.
Okay. I had a thought, now it's gone.
Oh, no.
Another thing I like to do on that is look in either the book or the app. Look up Blue Tansy. It'll give you a list of things that it's in. So it's also in the Balance blend, and it's in Deep Blue blend. So if you're looking for actual Blue Tansy oil, you can grab one of those.
Right.
Good
Okay.
point.
So I found this one kind of a little interesting. Lemon myrtle, right? And oh, by the way, this happens to be the product of the month this month. So if you submit that order, that 125 PV order before the 15th of the month, then you're going to get this as a free product. And this lemon myrtle I'm still kind of learning how to use this oil because it is fairly new. But it's very effective at cutting through the prevalent modern stages of that mental fogginess, right? It can also help with releasing some of those accumulated toxins, and it can help also promote positive, clear thinking. Now,
I like the part of that sentence that says through unconscious absorption of negative group talk.
yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
been through that lately?
Oh my.
So a couple different ways you can use this. Of course, you can diffuse it or sniff it right from the bottle. You can use it environmentally too. You can actually put several drops into a spray bottle and you can kind of mist it around the home. You can take a drop or two and put it in some carrier oil and you can apply it to the bottoms of your feet. Or you can actually take this one internally, take a drop or two underneath your tongue, or you can put it into a capsule or put a couple drops into some water and drink it that way. So I'm still kind of learning a little bit about this oil. I haven't used it very much, but after kind of looking into this and doing a little bit of research on it, I think it's one I'm going to start playing with a little bit more. Just,
Yeah, that sounds like a good
just to
plan.
see what happens with
A
that.
little diffusing action going
Yeah.
on here.
Might be good to do that if you're trying to study or something or research something to stay, so if it helps with mental fogginess, to give it a try for that.
Yeah, to kind of stay locked on to something, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So,
Hey, Angelo, I think it's lemon eucalyptus that's the product of the month, isn't it?
Oh,
Think so.
maybe lemon myrtle is the 10% one.
I don't think I think lemon myrtle was one of the convention ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So disregard that whole thing about the.
Yeah, I think it's lemon eucalyptus is the 125.
All right, sorry about that.
it's
There's too
okay.
many
You need some.
lemons.
You need some lemon. You must need lemon myrtle.
I need focus. that whole task at hand thing. I've lost it. Proven point right here. I did not use these oils today.
I think lemon eucalyptus would be a good one to use for the purposes you're talking about right now also. So I just didn't want anybody to be confused when they place their 125 PV order and what's this? It's an awesome oil on its own.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Gretchen.
This is how we share in our group.
Yeah, this is how you guys keep me straight. And it takes all of you to keep me straight.
There's only so much I can do.
So ginger is another oil that you can consider using for this. This kind of helps you, kind of persuades the person to fully be present and participate in life, right? It helps them be the creator of their own lives. You can see the positive properties there listed there. If I move, let's move that out of the way.
Oh.
That's not all right. Fine.
Can you move it up?
So you can the way you could use this topically is there we go. How about that? Now you can see it. You can use this topically. You can dilute 1 to 2 drops in carrier oil, and again you can apply it to your upper stomach area. You can take 1 to 2 drops underneath your tongue or in a capsule or in your water, because you can take this one internally. This does have a lot of good qualities for digestive issues, but it's also really good on the emotional aspect of it for these things that you see listed here.
Taking it under the tongue, though, has a heck of a sting.
Yeah, I prefer to take my oils in a capsule or in water, just to get them diluted just that little bit.
Oh.
So here's an oil where some of you may be very familiar with, the Intune oil. It's known as the focus blend, right? And this kind of calms the mind. It's facilitating that kind of inner peace. They say it's beneficial for those people that have short attention span. So I don't know, maybe I should get some real quick.
I was gonna say I need some too. So
Yeah.
Me too.
It really helps you kind of remain present with the task at hand, and it helps you kind of complete that project and stay focused. When you look at the ingredients of this blend, it has amyris, it has patchouli, frankincense, lime, ylang-ylang, sandalwood, and Roman chamomile. Again, you can inhale this straight from the bottle, or you can diffuse this. Most people use it topically by putting it on the temples, on the wrists, the back of the neck. The great place to put that. Now, this Intune is no longer provided to us in this 10 milliliter rollerball. It now comes in a 5 milliliter bottle, I think it is, or is it a 15 milliliter? I can't remember. Anyway,
so it doesn't come like that. We have to make
it doesn't
our
come
own.
in a rollerball anymore. It comes
Okay.
in a standard oil bottle. So you could take that and pour it into a rollerball just for easier application.
What do you think? Like 20 drops?
I've always used this as a rollerball, and
Yeah.
what I will do when I run out, I will take my Intune oil and I'll just refill my rollerball, just so I can keep it. It's easier application for me to quickly put put it on behind my neck, behind my ears,
I think
bottoms of my feet.
what I hear her asking is what percentage though do you cut it to?
To make it.
I usually do a 50-50
Oh,
when it
50,
comes
50.
to making our own roller balls.
Okay, so 50,
Depending on the
50.
oil, I may cut that back to 33%. If I'm, but if it's just taking that oil and putting it into a rollerball form, usually it's about a 50-50.
So to make this, since it doesn't come like that anymore, I should use half of the Intune and half of the FCO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you could start out at
I need it.
25% if you wanted to. And then, if that doesn't provide enough kick for you, you can add more oil to that. So you get to play with that a little bit to find out where the dosing is that works best for you.
Okay. I need
I
that.
think there's about 90 drops in a 10 milliliter, I believe. So if you want to just think like 45
90 drops in a 10 milliliter?
I think so. I'm just trying to
Okay.
remember. I mean, I could be wrong.
Isn't it 83?
Well, maybe when I put 90, it was too much.
I don't know.
Maybe
We can go
that's
back
what
and
it
look that up.
was.
I'll have to look that up and get back to you on that one. But
Okay, thank you.
So let me write that down real quick.
That'd be interesting to know.
So I also wanted to throw Thinker in here too, because even though this comes from the kids collection, this is basically the same oil for them. It's diluted a little bit more, but this really does help with focusing amidst all the distractions and the competing priorities that we have. And it helps kind of promote that calm and focused mind. You can see the positive properties there. And it's a blend of vetiver, peppermint, clementine, and rosemary. Even though it's a significantly different oils as compared to the Intune, they really still produce that same kind of effect. You can see the suggested uses there. And again, Thinker oil you can apply to the temples, the back of the neck. For this one, they talked about maybe placing it in between the thumb and the forefinger on the hand. I'm not exactly sure as to why placement was there. I've seen to where you could do it on the back of the hand. I know some people like to just roll it on their forearms too. Having it on your hands or on your forearms, what I have found is that as I'm doing things and as the oils are there, as I move my hands and I'm, shuffling papers around or writing or whatever, as my hands are moving, I'm still getting a whiff of that every now and again. So it's just, my reminder of, hey, there it is. And okay, relax. And it kind of helps keep me focused. So those are just different areas on the back of the hands for between the forefinger and thumb or on the forearms that really kind of help be that constant reminder that the oils are there and you keep getting that aroma as you're doing some stuff. Hope oil is another one. As I was reading on this, not a lot of people know much about Hope oil. It was introduced in 2016 and it was actually for the Operation Underground Railroad, Our Rescue, as part of the Healing Hands Foundation. And it is actually the oil in and of itself was it's $20 for the bottle of oil, but every amount of that goes towards the Healing Hands Foundation for this and to work with children that are involved with sex trafficking and slavery. It has a really neat blend of oils to it: the bergamot, the ylang-ylang, frankincense, and a little bit of vanilla too. And it's a very unique blend. Smells really, really good. And it really it's an encouraging oil. It's kind of uplifting. It has the ylang-ylang, it has the bergamot in there. But you look at those positive qualities and you're hopeful, you're courageous, you got self-acceptance, you're healing. It's kind of a rebirth. And it kind of helps rally those internal resources that you need to kind of keep going. When this oil initially came out, it was specifically intended to be handed out to people that were involved in sex trafficking, to some of these kids. And you could actually peel the label back, and there was a 1-800 number for them to call. And they would coordinate an effort to go in and rescue these kids that would call. The oil became in such high demand that you purchase the oil now and you get just a standard label on there. But the cool news is that that label that has the 1-800 number on it, if they're handing oils out to people that are involved in sex trafficking, that label is still on those those bottles of oils. So they'll have contact, be able to have that number and reach out if they need help or if they want help. So this is just an oil that a lot of people don't know about, and it's a really cool oil, not only because of the way it smells and what it does, but for the relief efforts of the Healing Hands Foundation that it, the group of kids that it's helping. So I started putting together, looking at some different blends, and as I was putting this together, oh my God, there is a ton of different blends out there that you can put together. It really depends on where you are, where you're trying to get to. And these are just a couple of examples. You can go to diffuserblends.com. They have just a slew of different blends that you can put together. And the cool part about these blends is if you want to make these into a roller ball, make them a roller ball. If you want to put it into a diffuser, you may want to back off on the drops a little bit on some of these, but you can diffuse the oils, you can make a roller ball. Normally what we do is when we find a new blend that we want to consider, we don't know, it's like, I don't know, is it going to smell right? I don't know. What you can do is you can actually take the bottles, all the bottles that are involved in that blend, take the caps off, hold them all together in your hand, and just kind of waft them underneath your nose. See if you like that blend of oils. If something in there isn't appealing, swap it out for something that you like a little bit better. You can, or if you like those oils that are involved in that blend, but maybe cedarwood's a little bit too strong for you, back it off to 3 drops or 2 drops. This is where you get the benefit of playing around with it a little bit. We have a respiratory blend that we use all the time that calls for more rosemary and less eucalyptus. Well, we both like eucalyptus a little more than we do rosemary, so we just kind of change it up a little bit. That's the joy of using these oils and putting these blends together, is that again, finding out what direction you want to go to, what are your intentions. Do we need that grounding? Do we need those bass type tones? Or do we need something more uplifting, more energizing, more motivating?
And so I'm sorry, but that was a great idea. Thank you. I've never thought of that. Holding all the bottles together and smelling them. I like that idea.
Yeah, because there was a couple times that we've put some blends together in a diffuser and we went, nope, and poured that right back out. It was like, nope, don't like it.
Gotcha.
And that's all I got for the slides. So, do you guys have any questions? I know I kind of went over things. I've just kind of kept reading and just going through, but do you guys have any questions on anything? What have you guys tried that has worked for you?
Read some of the comments. That would help. We didn't have the comments up while he was talking. So
Melissa, you like Intune, huh? Yeah.
I was going to ask if it's possible to use that too much. I have found that actually, maybe it is just that. Maybe it is just the intentions that when I feel like I need to go find that roller ball, because sometimes, because I'm not in tune, I forget where I put it. When I feel like I have to do that, I actually think maybe I'm using it a little bit less frequently, which is good, right? Because then I'm building those good practices, but
right.
I still I love it. And I personally, like I said, it's just that mix must work really well for me. And I can just feel it right away. That I'm like,
Good.
oh, thank God I have this.
Yeah, and that comes from trying different things. So if you
Yeah.
you use something and it just doesn't work for you, try something else.
I've used Serenity a lot too, the Serenity blend,
Mhm.
for different times.
Yeah.
There's well, different things, but
Right.
I usually, those are usually my two go-to.
Yeah, we tried the Serenity with me and it just didn't work out well at all. So
You
like
just never know how they're going to react with you. So you try
Oh,
something else.
and that's the one thing that I really like about the essential oils, where like in medicine, you're so limited with the number of meds you have, and then it's like, well, I don't know what to do with you. But with the essential oils, we have options, and where one blend or one oil may not work, you can flip some other things out and finally get something that works for you.
yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a little bit of tweaking, but
yeah.
um,
Well, and
And
if I
make
can
sure.
say, go ahead,
Sorry, go
Katie.
ahead. Go ahead, Sean.
No,
No,
I think it was Melissa.
yeah,
Oh,
Melissa.
I was just gonna say, just to go along with tonight's topic, it's kind of our intentions too. Like, I know what I need and I know what this oil's supposed to do. So if I can kind of focus on that, and just get my mind on that path and stay there, like you said, just changing some of those things. I wanted to share that somebody recently said to me, when we have those, for one, I was thinking we got to get some of this lemon myrtle and I got to like spritz it in some of my high tension areas to get rid of, probably
like
at my work, to like just diffuse all of them without them knowing it, but
Right.
yes, I love that. Robin and I would have to spray it all day long.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Vicky asked a question. In the last slide, there was an oil called Angelica. I saw that too, Vicky, and I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I
I don't know if
haven't
that's one of
researched it.
ours or I don't think it's one of ours. Anybody else know what that is? Angelica?
I think I've heard Aroma Head Institute make reference to that. So that may be one of theirs.
Okay.
Okay. I'll get back to you on that, Vicky. I'll chase that down a little bit.
The other thing in some of my work that I've been doing is always reference your intention starting off with I am, because it puts it in a positive motion and it then makes you accountable for doing it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that before too.
Yeah, I was telling Sean this morning, earlier before this meeting started, I started using the Chia blend for the loss of my grandmother, and I've been using that nonstop. And I'm actually almost out of that because that stuff works.
Yeah.
That stuff does work. I mean, so I don't know. And she wants to know if we can get a big old bottle from doTERRA or not. That's pre-diluted or not.
It does come in a 10 milliliter roller ball. It's
Okay.
not just a 5 milliliter bottle anymore. You'll have to look under the emotional aromatherapy oil selection. That's where you'll find that. So.
And Angela, you were saying about using the back of the hand. I know that there are some reflex points there, and I found that is a hot spot for headaches, and you may have to move it around. We were up at a conference and didn't have my peppermint, didn't have any frankincense with me, and person was having a migraine, and so we started using that web space, and I said, now press and when you find that spot that is really tense, hold it there. And that's how we broke their migraine. So there is a connection there.
Yeah, I think reflexology is definitely something that can augment the use of the oils, and it's helped with also with my sinuses. Your fingertips and the tips of your toes are you press in that area, it kind of helps open up those sinuses. So reflexology is something that
Leave it.
I'd like to learn a little bit more about, and kind of figure out how to incorporate that a little bit more into making us feel a little bit better. So Melissa, did we cut you off, or did you finish your thought, or was there more to what you were saying about?
No, not really. It was just one of those little snippets about changing our negative thought to that positive one and how sometimes we have to change it. And somebody once posed to me about not apologizing and instead being thankful.
Yes. So many people say, I'm sorry all the time. Or no,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. I don't know. You get down that rabbit hole of I'm sorry. And I did it wrong. And
And even like the example was, I'm sorry, I'm late versus thank you for waiting for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
There you go.
And it just sets a whole different tone, not only for yourself, right? Like you said, it just,
Yeah.
it's not my fault traffic was backed up and I left him plenty of time and then it
Yeah.
snowed a bit, I mean, there's those things, but it does it honors the other person that did wait. And it just
Right.
kind of puts a little bit more positive spin on it.
Vicky's asking about the chart. It's a doTERRA chart.
Yeah.
So
I got it off of Aroma Tools. It's actually, you can find it in your Modern Essentials book or your Essential Life book as well.
Hey guys, I gotta get going for the night. I'll catch you guys tomorrow then.
All right, Kate.
Hey,
I'll catch you
thanks,
guys
Kate.
later.
Bye.
See ya.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
But you can also find that in the Modern Essential or the Essential Life book. It does talk a little bit about that.
And it's got feet on the other side.
It's got feet. So your feet's too big. And it's funny is that the feet and the hands, they correlate to kind of like the same areas, right? Like I said, the fingertips are kind of connected to your sinuses, along with the tips of your toes are also connected to your sinuses. So it kind of goes hand in hand, or foot in foot, whatever, or however you want to look at it.
Oh, that's sad. That's just sad.
I liked it.
But it's something that I would like to learn a little bit more about. Maybe looking into reflexology and the symphony of the cells, and just some other things to incorporate, or to things that will work together to augment one another and get just kind of a synergistic effect.
Great idea. Great idea.
Yeah. So we're continuing to play. That's as we continue to learn, we get new experiences, and that's the one of the many things we love about the oils, is that if we use an oil and it doesn't give us the full effect of what we were trying for, we can go grab another oil and try that. We don't have to wait 30 minutes, 24 hours, or whatever. Melissa, you were asking, can you overdose on oil? Can you use too much? So typically what we tell people is that you can never use the wrong oil, because every oil is going to give you some type of benefit. It may not be the exact benefit you're looking for. This is where you get to go back and play a little and figure out which one would work better. But no one has ever died from an overdose of essential oils. So
your body purges them automatically if you just have too much.
Yeah.
It just
Can you
doesn't.
use too much? Sure, yeah. But you're not going to die.
I think there was some reference directly from doTERRA that they sent me that basically spread it over 4 hours. Not to repeat any closer than that, because it is a active medication, and so your body needs some processing time.
Right.
So that's why they're saying no closer than 4 hours.
So you're referring to internally, not topically, right?
Including topically, because it is absorbed into the body, and it's going to have to be metabolized.
Right. But I always thought if you were having like an acute issue with topically, you can apply it more often until that acute issue has calmed.
I know one of the things doTERRA has talked about is if you're going to do them more often, use less.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Right.
Use less
So
oil.
if you're having an acute thing and you need something and you're just putting it behind your ears and a little bit on and smelling it and relaxing, and then maybe I've heard people say like half an hour to an hour, apply it again if it's something really
It's
bad.
really
It-
chronic.
Yeah, if it's
It
really
also comes down to the concentration that you're using.
Right.
chronic. Right.
You know, when
Yeah.
I'm anxious and I'm feeling like I feel like I'm gonna jump out of my skin, I throw oils on and people
Oh,
say,
yeah.
well, what's put on? I said a lot. You know, so up to 24, drops of oils. The other thing I wanted to say, isn't green mandarin on 10% this month?
I think so.
And that's it's so weird because before February, before I knew this, I started to pull out green mandarin. There was something that's telling me I should do that. And it's an awesome one for depressed, agitated, nervous, inner child work, situational anxiety. It goes on to other things, but
Oh, where did you get that?
this is in my Essential Life book.
I remember when green mandarin came out and they were talking about the benefits of it, and I'm like, wow, that is just awesome.
Well, it's the fruit
look
that
that
it falls on the ground and needs to be thrown away.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That was
And
so
so
cool.
the cool thing too is it's this citrus. So this woman I was actually listening to today randomly, but she puts it in her water all the time. She said because it tastes so good, but it's good for bloating, poor circulation, liver, kidney, acne. It's good for cough and respiration, skin and breast cancer, lack of energy, and wrinkles. So you put it in your cream, your whatever,
Facial
and
cream
it's
or
not
whatever, yeah.
photosynthetic or synthesis. Doesn't have photosynthesis, so you can go outside in the sun.
Ah,
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's
And it
nice.
smells so wonderful. So this woman was saying what you could dilute it with would be black pepper, and I did that this afternoon, and it's amazing.
Dilute it with
So I
black
mean, it's really
pepper.
something that you might want to consider this month. And but it's good with clove, copaiba, juniper berry, lemons, sandalwood, which came in the BOGO, right? No, that was no, that wasn't sandalwood. Spearmint, which I'm also obsessed with, and neroli. There
so
you
many
go.
good oils. You just can't use them all in a day.
I know I tend to go with certain things, but the other oil that I've really become obsessed with is cassia.
Really?
I don't know. It just makes me feel good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I put it in my kitchen. So yeah, I don't know. It just has that kind of happy, aroma, maybe cooking or whatever. The calming, this time of year, whatever.
Well, thinking of the constituents, that would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it's also good for detoxing. There you go. All this
For the liver, that would make sense if it's good for
and
the liver.
emotional balance. So yeah, so keeps me calm.
Yeah. But there's a limit
Siberian
on it.
fir, that's the one I was trying to think. With that BOGO, the BOGO. Siberian fir is another one that I've been just becoming really attached to.
So many oils, so little time.
I
Sometimes, Mari, that's what it is. It's kind of like, which oil am I being drawn to, right? You just kind of you open up the drawer, you look at the oils and you go, speak to me. Which oil do I want? And you're kind of pulled towards something. And then, or, sometimes you grab an oil and you don't know why, but then you smell it and then you realize, oh, wait a minute. I feel better. I'm in a better place than I was a little while ago. This must be what I needed. Sometimes those things kind of manifest when you don't even expect it. You just kind of follow your gut feeling, and go with that.
I agree.
So the joy of practicing with oils. It's, there's plenty of them out there, and there's, what works for me may not necessarily work for you, but we have a variety of oils that we can pick and choose from, and we can find something that's going to work. So that's the cool part about it. It just, sometimes it takes a little bit of practice and just playing around with the different oils.
So Melissa, are you going to start infusing this through the entire HVAC system?
Don't say a word, Sean. Don't say a word.
I'll just walk around with a
may or may
smile on
not
my
have.
face, knowing what's happening.
I may or may not have opened up a roller ball in my boss's office without him knowing.
There you go.
And yeah, he comes in right away and he's like, "What's that smell?" And I'm like, "Listen, you just need to embrace it. Whatever it is, your body must need it."
Well, I'll tell you,
Awesome.
yeah, I've been retired for 11 years now.
Lucky.
I had oils when I was still working. I worked in an enclosed space because it was a secret crappy things I did. And I'll tell you, boy, I would have had On Guard going day in and day out. Oh, the
Yeah.
things we know now that we didn't know then.
Yeah. Did you guys, speaking of On Guard, did you guys see the 200 PV promotion this month? For 200 PV, you get On Guard rollerball, On Guard 15 milliliter, hand sanitizer, and something else. Was it the hand washing or hand soap?
Yeah, the
Yeah. Foaming hand soap.
Yeah,
So
foaming.
I was like, that's a no-brainer. That's
It's like over $80 worth of products.
yeah, $80 worth of stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for this.
You're
Yes,
very
thank
welcome.
Thank you.
If you guys think of anything else later on down the road, just give us a shout. We'll get, we'll find out those answers. But we appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with us tonight. And
Maybe one day we'll meet in person.
Thank you.
we'll meet in person again. So
Thanks.
good night, guys.
Thank
Have a good rest.
you.
Thanks a lot,
Catch up with
guys.
you later
Good
on,
night.
okay?